Morning! Yeah, it's still morning. I think it's technically before... Well, we're at 10:50, so we're an hour and 10 minutes before noon, so we're still good. It's late morning, but it is morning. Hair's a bit of a mess. My eye's been bugging me. I got something in this eye yesterday, and it won't come out. It's like right freaking here. Tried an eye flush, tried doing a rinse, still there. Not the first time that's happened, but it's annoying when it does. I'm always worried, like, is it like a splinter? Is it like a piece of glass? What is it? You know? No clue. Could be a hair or an eyelash that just kind of gets under the lid. But I can't see for crap, so I can't do anything about... Like, when I'm digging in there, I can't see anything, so it's whatever. She took a peek, but she couldn't really see anything either. Ugh. One time I had something in there, and it felt like a rock, man. It was in there for a day or two. And then it eventually, you know, broke off and came out. It was like a big, like, eye booger kind of deal. I'm thinking that's going to happen again. But last time, my eye got real gross. So I'm going to try to ignore it, but I'll probably keep picking at it. Anyway, last time we were here... Hey, look, Botrix is here. We got the ships added to the queue, but they weren't deducting properly. So what I've started doing is on the spawn ship function, I am removing this. So this is what subtracts that from the count whenever that happens, and I'm having that happen on the actual queue. So I just left myself a note, turn that off, and then on the action queue for that particular thing, I'm going to do that here. So this is going to be an if. So part of the thought process from last time was, should this actually happen here on the C++ side, or should I have this happen on the blueprint side, on the menu side? But as long as this count gets updated and refreshed, I think we're okay. Because the one that I'm getting in Blueprint is a local count. It's not constantly updated. So, but same dealio. Once I get it, I need to then actually subtract it. So ship.homeplanet, I'm just gonna, since I know what I'm calling, I'm just gonna grab this again. And that should be count. So if that count is greater than 0, then count minus minus. We'll deduct 1. The else on this is it should return, it should exit with an error. That says no more ships at this location or something like that. But that is something I could do on the blueprint side. It's a lot easier to do that on the blueprint side, because if I do it on this side, I have to make sure that signal gets sent forward. And that's a pain. So, oh, welcome to the stream. I'm just staring at the screen again, thinking. Because if I do it in Blueprint, I have to ask the same questions, right? I have to get access to the ship, or I have to get access to the planet, and then get its stuff, check its stuff. To send the message, how am I doing my messages here? CPP, we'll come back. This one returns the actual spawn ship. Okay. Yeah, the way that I did these is I made these F strings and I had them return a response. I might do that for the other one. I might make that an F string. This one has a broadcast update the resources. But when I'm sending a ship, I don't have to take any resources. So I shouldn't need that. Because on here, what I should do is do this and then have a yeah. Hey, welcome back. Still staring at the screen. I'm just gonna comment this out for a minute. Let me go take a look on the blueprint side. widgets, send ship menu. Yeah, so on the send button, I do a bunch of is valid checks to see if the HUD is valid. Okay. This checks to see if the docked planet is there and if the selected planet is there. And this errors out to choose a destination. Then on here, it was checking to see the appropriate number of ships in the queue on that ship list. It gets the receiving count. That's going here to spawn ship. We bypassed a bunch of that to call the add action to queue. I think it's safe to remove this stuff. We're not using it. But we were having issues figuring out where that was coming from last time, weren't we? Because I get the local count. That's the receiving count. Do I have the right to make changes on the local count from here? It's planet stats. Ship count. Okay, so the ship count is internal. So I could not modify it from there. I'd have to change that to read write. Not that big of a deal. I can just change the type. Can I send more ships than I have? Oh, I gotta fix that too. Hold on a second. Make sure I add an item for that. Fix resources per day. Bad counts. Can I drop an image in here? I think I can. Let me go to planet. I noticed this earlier. I just need to make sure I have it in my log. So this planet, planet 0, resources per day. It's alright. But the home planet, so right here, planet 2 would be a home planet. So the second planet in the list. This is a home planet and should have a certain number of resources. And you can see that here, but only one of them has... So they should have 3, but it has 4. And it has one random, super high number of resources per day. That's like a crazy high number. What's the other planet? Planet 4. Planet 4 had a similar thing. So I think what I was probably doing originally was just checking it to see what resources it had, just adding the one. But I really should just wipe it and give it whatever. But, yeah. Make sure I put it in my list of to-dos. I'll get to it at some point. Alright, so checking to see if we have the ability to send more ships. Good enough. I can build some ships. Okay. Planet 2, I'll grab planet 3. Sure, planet 4 is good enough. If I run out, can I keep counting? Okay, not enough ships at the location, so that gets counted here. And I can reduce, that works here. But what doesn't work is when I send the ship and I hit send, that's been added to the queue over here, but the count over here has been left behind. Okay, so handling that on the C++ side should be fine, because this part already handles not enough. We got 5. That's a wonderful cheat. I'll send a bunch, and then I'll pull back a bunch. How many ships can I build this way? Right, so I'm gonna try doing it on the C++ side and see. I should be okay. because we already get a notification not enough ships if that happens. So let's pop over here, and I will continue with what I was doing here. And the way this should work is I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this if statement ahead. And I'll just return out. Why am I... Oh, I'm erroring out because I didn't build this. Hey, P, how's it going? And then for this, I think it's okay to not have that check. Well, crap. What I was trying to do is just prevent having to have this added to memory and then it fail. But I'm thinking my count's going to be off. Alright, so I'll just do it. I'll do it the way I was going to do it before. It's fine. But I will need to wrap this part. Huh. I guess it's an interesting way of looking at it. Well, it's like if you buy the ingredients to make a salad, it'll probably cost you the same amount as buying a pre-made salad, but you might get enough salad to last you a couple days versus one pre-made salad. The thing I don't like about doing this here is when this gets called, it's going to create this in memory, populate these, get here, and then possibly fail. So it makes sense for this to check early and fail out before doing anything else. That bugs me. I do want to rewrite that, but let's just see if this does what I need it to do. Or again, if I handle on the blueprint side and just do the check there before this gets sent, then no, I don't need to open the menu. I just need to check these. And then for this, I'll get the action queue up. I need to add these to the list so I don't have to keep checking this thing. Okay. Let's try sending a ship. I'm on planet 4, so I should be able to grab that guy. Oh, did I never build any ships? Oh, I must have been on the other player. Okay, so now I have ships. Alright, and if I send one, that gets added. It does allow me to subtract it, though. So on the blueprint side, how would I handle that? Yeah, because that is the correct count now. So I think what I'll do is just clear whenever I hit send, that it clears this amount. Well, now it's got me thinking about how this menus works. Because now I can add these to a queue, right? And I need to be able to cancel that queue. Huh. Yeah, that's something to consider. Because I do want this to go into like an action queue like menu, and you can cancel the actions. But what if I just added a cancel button on the send ship menu or the send resources menu? And right now the ships, they they can fly through other planets and fly through the sun. I need to put object avoidance into their pathfinding. Add that to my list. Obstacle? What is an obstacle? I'll add it to my list of things that need to be done at some point. Not that I want to feature creep myself, but yeah, it's making me think about how I want to handle that menu. But on this side, I'm going to run out of time. Oh, it's on one player. It's fine. I killed the other player. It didn't tell me that I gained a planet, though. Huh. That was weird. I sent 2, and it updated and returned 1. Weird. I did send 4. I was able to add each time. Interesting. So I can't... Oh, I see. It's refreshing the menu. That's why. The true count is still 0. But it's still letting me send more than I have. Alright, so I think what happens here I wrote this assuming I'm only sending one ship, but I have a ship count coming in. So I need to account for that. This is where I think having this error out would be good. Yeah, because I'm not just sending one at a time, you know. So I guess we'll do, instead of be... Have a good one, see you later. So we'll have it be greater than or equal to the number of ships. Let's see how that works. I'm thinking I'm going to have to come back and do a difference calculation so that well, that shouldn't matter, right? Because we can only ever send a certain number. And it won't let you send more than the number you have. So I think I'm alright. I can't end my turn. Oh, I should probably end my turn. Okay. Maybe I should build like an update menu in here. Like, here's where I'm setting from. This is where I'm going to. Maybe instead of having this count be here, maybe I should put it here, with the ability to update the count. Or let's say if I were to pull this off, maybe this would say update. Then I could hit it and then do that. I don't know. I'll worry about menu improvements after you guys start playing this, and you can give me some ideas. Alright, so I shouldn't be able to send 0. And if I send 1, I send it. And those fired. Alright, make some more ships. Alright, if I send a ship, I can't send more than my fair share. I sent 2. Can I send 4? No. So this count keeps going up. This is not going down because I can't send more than I have. And I'm trying to send 8. So this number I should probably clear that every time. But it would be nice to know how many ships are currently in transit. So either I need to add onto this menu you know, ships in transit or ships being sent or whatever here so that we can update that number, or have this number do something else. Hold on. How did that go? Oh, I gotta check a thing. I gotta check a thing. Got a text It's asking me to check. Today is the 17th. So what came in today? Error code. Actually, okay. Sorry, I had to check a message. So to answer that question, I also did not hear back from the other company. Period. I had to reach out to get the parts for my car. I had to reach out to some company. They haven't replied. So, a buddy of mine was asking if that happened yet. And I was like, let me check. Okay. Alright, so how do I want the value to change? So that allowed me to do that as 3 separate orders. I can't take it back though. So the way these menus are going to work, I don't know. So I guess clear this number. But also, whenever I hit the send button, I don't want those to go as separate orders. Right, so when I add a ship to the queue, it should check to see if there are other ships in the queue. So I would say if the ship is going to the same planet, then I just add it the same order. That way it's one action. I was doing that up here to this one. Basically, yeah. All right. Hey, how's it going? Zentrixa, right? How's your morning? I guess it's almost afternoon. How's your almost afternoon going? Ugh, my hair's all... I can like see a floating hair out of the corner of my eye. RTS, it's real-time strategy. So like, I don't know if you've ever played StarCraft or Command and Conquer. So just any strategy-based game that happens in real time, so that oh, 9 p.m. Wow, that's funny. So where does that put you on the globe? So you have turn-based games where you do something and then you hit the button and it waits for the other person to do something, hit the button. And then real-time strategy is all the players are kind of doing their own thing at the same time and competing. So this game is sort of a blend of those two elements, because there are some things that are happening in real time, but there are other elements that are happening on a turn-based kind of schedule. So I don't know if I can blend those two things, but I'm going to try to blend those two things. So like, the solar system updates in real time. The resources that you get update in real time. But the actions that you initiate update on a turn-based sort of schedule for the way that I'm handling this game. Well, we'll see how that turns out, though. All right, so for here, I need to look at, I don't know where to put this yet. I need a for loop. I is 0, I is less than the action queue dot send ship, not send resources, send ship dot num, and then I plus plus. So I need to check to see if, oh, that's hilarious. One of these things is not like the others. Yeah. This is in C++ and Blueprint. So, because I'm building this in Unreal, so I can build it. I have two options. I can build it using visual scripting, and I can also do it in code. So, most of this is in code, but some things are visually scripted. So, like on the menu, I'm sending information over into the menu so the players can interact with that stuff. I can do all that in code if I wanted to, but nobody likes writing in Slate. So Slate is another programming language. So in Unreal, you can write in C++, C#, and Slate. Slate is what is used for handling all of the interface, like user interface, like the HUD and stuff. That's all written in Slate. And then in Unreal, all of the menus for the editor are done in C#, I think. And then your game code is in C++. Oh, anyway, so I'm checking to see if need to make sure the ship. Let's see if the player, I guess, is still alive. I probably don't even need to check this if the player's alive, because you're not likely to die in between turns. But I will do it anyway. Is active. So we'll check if the player is active, and we'll also check if the home planet this is I don't think I need to check either of these cases, because this is happening currently on your turn, and all the attacks happen in that weird space. Okay. I don't touch a whole lot of web coding. Like I know HTML, a little bit of Java, not really read a whole lot in JavaScript, but I've written in Java and CSS. I don't do it enough, though. Like, every time I go to write anything for a website, I'm like, how did this work again? So. Okay. GD script, is that go.script, or is that... I'm not sure I know that one. Yeah, so this particular check, I don't think we need to verify if the planet still exists, but maybe. So if the home planet, planet stats, owner is equal to the ship player. And we'll check the ship type. So the ship dot ship type we'll say is equal to I'm going way out of what I need to do. That's okay. So it is for Godot. I thought Godot was using C# these days. Do they still have Godot script? Sorry, that's a bad if statement. I need to check if the thing in the action queue is the thing matches what we're building. So we'll do action queue dot ship send ship dot we'll see if the player is equal to the ship dot player, and we also need to see if the ship action queue dot send ship home planet is equal to the home planet. Alright, so if it's the player and the home planet are the same, then we want to make sure if it's the ship action queue send ship, we'll check the ship type. Is equal to the ship dot ship type. So if that's the case, then we will just update what's currently in the action queue. So action queue dot send ship we want the I think IntelliSense is having a hard time catching up. Send ship dot number of ships will be equal to whatever is in the count, but I have to do the same check again. I have to make sure that I can even send the ships. I gotcha. I haven't touched Godot since it came out, so I'm not 100% sure. I just vaguely recall them changing up the language that you could use. This is going to be number of ships. And then we have to return out of this. I could run this inside here. I think I might. That goes against the never nesting situation, but yeah, so once we get past here, we could do it this way or the other way. But in either case, the number of ships need to be removed from the count. Oh, that's a bit of a mess. So if this completes, we'll exit out. Well, if it gets to here, this exits out. Otherwise, it'll continue on and just add a single new entity. Yeah, that is kind of the thing. Like, I'll just be staring off like, huh, how is this working? And then people join and I'm like, yeah, I'm just staring at the screen for a while, sorry. Because there's many different ways that you can do a thing, and there isn't really a right or wrong way of how to do a thing, but there are more efficient ways of how to do a thing. And there are certain paradigms, like the never nesting paradigm of, you know, going in from like this function. This is my first set of braces. Now I got 2 sets of braces. Now I'm on 3 sets of braces. Now I'm on 4 sets of braces, right? So I've nested in 4 groups, and there's a whole group of programmers out there to say, hey, never nest. You know, if you're nesting it, you're doing something wrong. Find a different way. And usually I think it's no more than 3 or 4 nests. So technically I'm 3 nests in, because this is the start of the program. I think that's the rule. I might be 4 nests in, but I think this is technically the wall, and then I get my 3. But whatever. So I try to stick to that if I can, but it doesn't make sense to me to call this twice. So doing it once and then coming into here, you know. But if this loop finishes, then we do a single, And if the loop doesn't finish, if it gets exited early, then we don't have to worry about that. So I think I'm okay there. And we can test it. If it breaks, we'll know in a minute. And then like you'll stare at it for a day, and then you'll come back and go, oh, that was completely silly. Why would I do that? That's what happened up here on this one. I wrote a check to make sure that this loop could run, and I was like, oh, well, the loop, it self-checks. I don't need this. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to test it. I'll just do one player. It's a lot faster. And then I'll end the turn. Already constructed, already in queue, end turn. Okay, and then I'll add these to the queue. I'll end my turn. And just so I can see the queue, I need to make that list at some point. Okay, so I should have 7 ships, and I'm on planet 4, so I'll send to planet 2. So now if I send one that's been queued, let me send another one, and that's been added to the queue. I don't get an extra. I can technically keep hitting send one ship and it should keep deducting. And it does. Alright, I'll pick a different planet. If I go back, it doesn't show me the amount of ships that are already going to it. But I don't know how I really want this menu to work. Yeah. I want an action queue menu that shows all of the actions, and then I can just go and cancel things. But it does make sense to have the ships that are currently in transit available, you know, on the send ship menu. Let's see, talking about the code, talking about how code works, yet not be efficient when I first started, when I was given homework to check the possible values of an array to give a certain output. Okay. So, we had a kid a couple years ago who decided to nest a dozen, while loops, and it locked the computer. So that became like a thing. It's like, oh, you pulled a so and so, yeah. But I remember his teacher came up because we were talking, and he's like, so this happened. Oh, but yeah. In general, it's get it working and then make it better, I'm going to think about this menu for a long time. I'm going to be like, what am I doing here? I feel like I need an in-transit menu. But then I'm like overdoing the menus, But But from a user perspective, while I'm on this menu, I'm not really thinking about, the action queue menu itself. So being able to access it from two different places, just as a matter of convenience, kind of makes sense. Oh, this got updated because the turn ended and those ships got sent out. Alright, so the thing that I should do, I'll end the turn, get some more ships. I'm going to send a ship to here, right? And if I were to grab a different planet and send a ship to that one, that should not have happened. So I should get a new queue for a different planet. Let me pick a different planet way over here. Okay, so my check is bad. There's an error in my check. I check to see if the player is correct, and I check to see if the ship home planet is the same, but I did not check the destination planet. So let's make that here. Send ship. Target planet. So I have to check if it's the same player, because different players could be in the action queue at the same time. I have to make sure it's the same home planet and target planet, because you can send from different home planets to the same target planet, and you can send so like if you're on planet 4 and send whatever, just want to make sure that's the same, and then the ships have to be the same ship to kind of consolidate. So it's always so great when I get my kids every year, or we do recruiting, and they come in and like, oh yeah, well I want to play video games. Like no. You're going to be playing the game that you're building, and you're going to be playing that a lot. You're not coming here to play Fortnite. You're going to be working with code, and you're going to be bug testing. So it's a really good way of weeding out the useless. We get a bunch of them. Okay, let me get the queue up. Make some ships. And I'll add a couple other ships so I can experiment with them. Okay. Let's try something out. Oh, I take breaks. But right now on stream, I try to be consistent, you know. But yeah, I do take breaks. Although I am really bad at stopping, so we'll see. Alright, so let's test this. So I'm going to send out a ship to this one. Send. And if I send another ship, that should go to the queue because it's the same planet. If I pick a different planet and send. Oh. Okay, so that makes a new queue. Makes sense. If I go to the planet that I was at before and send a different ship, that should be a new action queue. Okay. Planet 1 to Planet 1, Planet 2. Let's try sending a harvester out there. Yeah, and then the different target planet, target planet, target planet. Harvester, harvester. Okay, and if I hit end turn, oh, you can see the harvesters going. It's cool. Alright, that looks like it's working. Yay. But I think whenever I hit send, I do want this to clear. And I think I want an in-transit menu here. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that in-transit menu, because I would have to call back to the game mode and grab those. That's not stored on the current planet. I don't think I have that stored on the planet. Planet. It's the planet itself. Yeah, I don't think I have in transit on here. No. But it makes sense to keep that on the game mode because you could lose the planet. So if you lose that planet, then the ships have to get updated. So I think it's just better to keep it on the game mode. Oh. So there's a scaffolding approach to teaching. So yeah, if you threw too much at a student at once, they'd be overwhelmed. So we do little parts at a time. So like you have an introduction on what variables are, and how to create a variable and what variable types are. That doesn't really sink in. You have to actually use them for them to sink in. But some things you have to teach in tandem and simultaneously, because you can teach variables, but then you have to do something with those variables. So you have to show how calling a variable and writing to a variable work. And you have to show some practical examples of using an if statement. So you might lump an if statement in with variable creation. You know. But when it comes to like writing functions, you do that in like little parts as well. Because you have different, you can do, because every variable type can be a function. So you could teach that. Teaching voided functions versus returning functions, how to handle return types. But you do it in little pieces. And then you have to kind of, and you can't just show it once and then think that they got it. You have to show it, but then you have to give them tasks that exercise that information to reinforce it. I teach video game design. Yeah, it's a career pathway at our school. A lot of our schools do that. I want this menu. Alright, let's start with clearing this. I think clearing that number is going to be a good place to start. So on the send ship menu, I need to get the destination list. So on the receiving end of that, yeah, because this gets refreshed from the loop. But then after we fire, after the loop is completed, update resource amounts. And this is the location ship list that gets updated. That's from docked ship. May just set this back to 0. So set. Sorry. And let's see if that does what I want to do. So we'll build a couple of them. Okay, build a couple of these. Grab a planet. If I'm sending one, I sent one, but that did not get cleared. I could make it close the menu whenever you hit send, but that would just be annoying. Yeah, so we have a number of different career pathways. So we teach video game design. We also teach nursing, construction, veterinary, and another school. Different schools teach a little bit different. So there are a few schools that teach game design. There are a few schools that teach construction. We don't have a culinary program at our school, but there's a school near us that has culinary. So they teach, how to be a chef. So the model of it has changed to try to get kids prepared to go into the workforce a lot earlier, so they can, kind of plan out their future a lot earlier. And a lot of those career pathways do not require college, and some of them do. So like for game design, I would recommend that they continue and go to, a college. Nursing, they should continue to nursing school. Veterinary, they should continue on to veterinary school. But they get their certifications ahead of time, so they can get work early while they're still going to school. So like our nursing kids, I think they get their LPN, and it lets them do some work, that's outside of my scope because I don't teach that thing. But then, like for our construction kids, they get a lot of their construction certifications, and a lot of them go directly from high school into a construction field. They either go into an apprenticeship or something like that. So, not every career path is college ready, Whereas, like, for game design, because I teach computer science, I teach animation, I teach modeling, and I teach 2D stuff. I don't do a lot of 2D. My kids want so much 2D stuff, but I found that when you teach 2D and 3D, because of the difficulty in 3D, a lot of the kids will avoid doing the 3D stuff and fall back on doing just 2D. So I don't teach a lot of 2D stuff because of that reason. So I almost predominantly teach just 3D design. Every now and again, I'll be like, okay, we're going to do a game jam, and for a game jam, we'll do 2D stuff, just to kind of change it up. But anyway, but yeah, if you want to do game design, I'd recommend going to college, because there are some things that I can't teach you in the high school setting. We just don't have the time. So if you want to specialize in a specific thing, so if you want to be specific to game design software development, then I would say go to college. Or if you want to do just the animation part, then you can go to college, because then you can specialize in that thing that you really like. Whereas I kind of teach an umbrella of all these different things. And then when the kids do their group projects, so for classwork, they kind of have to do everything, They have to know how to program and animate and whatever not. But in their group setting, they can specialize in their group, but like, hey, I'm the coder, or hey, I'm the animator. And they have their own little jobs, and they can, when they plan out their project, they know who's doing what. So that's kind of neat. But going out of the high school setting, if you wanted to specialize, I would say go to college for that. Or you can go independent. You can become an indie developer and do it that way. Do freelance on like Upwork or Fiverr or that sort of thing. You said that makes you feel like an only child because you did community college, but everybody else did universities. Did that make a difference, family wise, or is that just something that, like, you feel it, but it's because sometimes we're pretty hard on ourselves. You know what I mean? Like in my family, I think I'm the only one to go to college. I have a cousin who went to culinary school. But I don't think we had. Oh no, my uncle went to film school. Take that back. My uncle went to film school. But I think out of those three, we're like the weird ones. So as Trix was asking, you're asking the type of school. It's just a high school. So they have all their normal classes, and then my thing is a program class. So they normally have math, reading, science. You get that for an hour a day. But they go to the school to get their certifications in the specific program. So if they come to the school to learn nursing, that's their career path. They're doing that because they want to go to college for that sort of thing. So it's an elective, but it is it's a little bit more than just an elective, because they're there to get their certifications for that specific thing. All right. So if I fire this, and that's not getting cleared, why would this not get cleared? That doesn't get cleared because why? Do I have a refresh destination list? Update receiving text. Okay. So I need to get this from the send destination child. So update receiving text. That's coming out of this list from here. set receiving. Coding with bubbles. It's great if you don't mind all the wires. Let's try this. Okay. One more time. Okay. Okay, so that got cleared. And that got cleared. Okay, so that's working. You said you're a little bit jealous of those who have siblings who went to community college? Do your siblings who went to university, do they actively look down upon you? Do you have that dynamic at home? Okay, but that part's working. So if I send a ship, it gets cleared from there. Hey, welcome. Welcome back, or welcome to. Okay. Let's see what happens if I send this one. And then that one. Yep. That's interesting. Look at all them. Alright, I'm going to test a theory. Alright, I've got one attacker, and I've got one harvester. Nothing in the queue. If I hit send, do I get both? I've got one attacker, one harvester. Okay. For a second there, it looked like it wasn't adding all the different ones to the queue. I don't have enough resources to test the others. But here's an example, though. You can see the issue that I had earlier with the resources. This one's at 3,400. That's at 1,000. It's at 55. Certain things replenish at different rates. That makes sense. But what doesn't make sense is how much. So planet 4 if I get my resources per day, I'm getting, on my first resource, I'm getting 268 per day. But these ones, I'm only getting 10 per day. So I'm going to have to fix that. But also I think getting like 200 resources a day is probably absurd. You know, why would you mine anything if you got that many resources? So I have to fix those counts. Let's do adjust. Okay, so I got some stuff accomplished. I am going to take a break and come back in a bit. So I'll save all this. And I will see you guys later. Peace.